Hi everyone, I'm Bill Holkham and welcome to today's watercolor tutorial. I've had lots of requests for a desert landscape video, so today we're painting this beautiful horse riding scene with the famous Superstition mountain in the background. Now I know this is a bit more advanced, but don't worry. I'll share some easy modifications for beginners. If you'd like to follow along, you can download my free sketch in the description, where I have also listed all of today's materials. So grab your brushes, get comfortable, and let's paint watercolors. I start with some clear water using my mop size brush over the sky area, and I've been quite careful to avoid the large cacti. Then it's Winsor Yellow and a combination of Winsor Yellow and alizarin crimson. And I'm painting as carefully as possible around the large cacti. But don't worry if you go over a little bit, because they're going to have some intense green colours on them, and that will cover up the tiny little bit of overlap that might occur. Come right down to the Superstition mountain and over the mountain with that light wash. And then you can add some more intense colour in the sky whilst it's wet, so wet in wet. That's your alizarin crimson with the Winsor Yellow again. And just vary that a little bit, and you'll be drying that off with a hairdryer soon, but not yet, because we add some Winsor blue. And it's important that when we're ready to use a hairdryer, we mop the edges, so that we don't get creep back from that collection of fluid on the edge of the paper. You can see I've gone to a number 12 brush for some of this detail. Whilst that's still wet, I've added some Winsor blue with a touch of the alizarin crimson for some slightly darker cloud shapes. Nothing too detailed, a very unfussy sky. Dry that off with a hairdryer, like I said, it's dried quite light. Then I'm using a number 12 to just use a tissue with some clear water to get rid of some of that overlap on the tall cacti. Not perfect, but it's enough because, like I said, they're going to be covered with intense green colours. For the Superstition mountain, we've got that combination of the Winsor blue and the alizarin crimson. So we've got a nice blue hazy mountain in the distance. And I've started at the top, slowly working down, and as I work down, the pigment is less and less intense, and that helps give that misty feel at the base of the mountain range. So you just do that all the way across, start in the middle, then go to one side, then the other side. Use that same technique. Please remember to like and subscribe, because if you do, it's all free and will notify you of future tutorials. For the mountain range, still wet, and therefore I'm adding a darker version of the Winsor blue and alizarin crimson at the top of the mountain, and letting that slowly fuse and creep down towards the base of the mountain to give that misty feel. Then with this number 8 brush, I'm just adding some Winsor Yellow to the distant grass area up to and around the horseback riders. The distant cacti, I've just made them silhouettes, and I may add a little bit of green to them later, but not too much, because I want them to clearly be in the distance. On the right hand side there's a variety of cacti, which we'll be addressing later because they're flowering. As is often the case, you've got a desert situation, very arid, no flowers, it rains, and then with 1 and 2 days suddenly there's a mass of flowers springing up from the cacti, etc. Then I've gone to a Winsor Yellow colour, still using that 8 brush. You could use a smaller one if you wish. And I'm just filling in an underpainting situation with the principal cacti. I'll do this left hand side in detail for you, and then the right hand side I will do, but there'll hardly be any video of the right hand side because it's basically a repetition. So start with your base colour, the yellow, then come in with a combination of yellow and sap green, and the sun is from the left, so light on the left side of objects and then dark on the right side. That's why you saw me laying down the darker pigment on the right side of the cacti, so that wet in wet, and that gradually fuses across to the left side, but of course not so intense. So still really doing underpainting, because you will notice there will be much more detail to come on the cacti. And I'm paying attention to where the light will be catching the cacti here and there, and where shadows will be cast. So there's quite a bit going on with this painting, with the various cacti and all the flowers that you'll see coming along later, and the mountain, the horseback riders, wild flowers in the middle area, middle ground, etc. So quite a busy painting, but I think it's useful regardless of which stage you're at in the learning process for transparent watercolor, because you can apply these techniques to many other paintings. And you'll notice from time to time I have a tissue handy, and if I wish to take off any pigment from the brush, I can just do that, because that's always something that people can struggle with. How much water to have on the brush, how much pigment, which mixture, and if it's loaded too much, then you're much more likely to lose control of the situation. So it's best to have a lesser amount, and therefore that tissue is always handy to have. And you can have a piece to the side, and also you can have a spare piece of paper to test your color mixings, which I always recommend. And as always, this board is at an angle. It slopes down from the top as it comes down to the bottom where I'm painting, and that's normally about 25-ish degree slope. So there's a block of wood at the top of the board to give me that slope angle. That means when I especially do wet and wet washes like the sky and the mountain area, the pigments gradually creep down the paper instead of the paper being flat and the pigment not knowing where to go will go all over the place and create puddles and dry in certain areas and not in others, and then the wet areas will creep back into the dry areas, all manner of problems. I've gone to a smaller brush to start the various flowers, and we've got some Scarlet Lake going on. You can just mix different colours. Start with the outside of the flower and have some clear water in the middle and let the outside pigment fuse in to the clear water area to make the flowers more realistic. and varied in tone. Darker in the center, some brown and some yellow. And I've designed this that there would be some rocky outcrops at the background behind the flowers to give a nice contrast of lights and darks. So you'll use a wet in wet process for those. And when they're dry, those underpaintings, you can put some detail on those rocks, including little cracks and crevices with a darker pigment, and also when it's dry, using the side of the brush scraping technique to show texture on the rocks. This part of the painting is obviously quite a long process of building up the various points of interest with the variety of flowers, and their juxtaposition, and the little outcrops here and there of other varieties of cacti. With your own version, you may of course choose different cacti varieties and different colours of flowers and so forth. This is just teaching you the techniques that you can then apply to your own masterpieces. For the horses and people riding, horseback riders, you use a much smaller brush so you can maintain control for detail. Something like a number 2 with a nice point to it, and you decide upon what type of pattern you want for the horses. You'll see one I will paint that's got white patches here and there, just as extra interest. If you feel from time to time, oh, that's a little bit too much pigment, you can, with a clean piece of tissue, not contaminated with any other colours on it that you transfer to the drawing by mistake, you can just dab it and lift some gently. This Arches 300-pound rough paper is very robust. You can get away with things like that quite easily without damaging the surface of the paper, because it's cotton and it is sized, which controls the absorbency. It gives you time to work the watercolors on the paper. They don't dry on you too quickly. Quite a long way through the painting now. Just got to repeat on the right hand side of what we were doing on the left hand side. Few less flowers and more variety of cacti. And once again, the rocks are showing a nice contrast. So now I'm also doing a little bit of lifting on the tops of the rocks, so the sunlight is catching there, giving a lighter area. And then on the right hand side, I'm using that side of the brush scraping technique. In order to achieve that successfully, you'll be mixing up more pigment, less water. So you can call it dry brush technique, but of course it's not totally dry, but it's not got a lot of liquid. And as I said before, please remember to like and subscribe. And also, we welcome comments and suggestions from people on future subject matters that you'd like to see a tutorial for. And also, feel free to post examples of paintings you've done yourself, whether following these tutorials or just some of your own designs, because we'd like to see them. I'm using a flat brush in this wet and wet in the foreground area, because I want to achieve certain shapes, and I'm more likely to achieve that with the flat brush. This design layout of this painting is done in a certain fashion to hopefully lead you in to the painting, to look towards the mountain and horseback riders. Dried that off the foreground and then using the scraping technique with a larger brush to give texture. And I've also tried to give a nice variety of colours and hues in that foreground area to keep it as interesting as possible. Getting quite close to the end now, and here we have a finished painting. I hope you've enjoyed that, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Happy painting. Bye for now.